Hello and welcome back to Final Fantasy -1. We are about to explore the first of 4 optional dungeons in this game. We're going to take a break chasing the elemental fiends to pick up some of the rare treasures that can be found in the optional dungeons of this game. This is the Holy Shrine. The Holy Shrine is mentioned by the sages at the Circle of Sages in Corneria after you've unlocked some of the orbs. It's interesting. Just like the Circle of Sages in Crescent Lake, they say some different things depending on how many orbs you have unlocked, and these sages are no different. As you progress through the game, the sages start to go from giving you basic tutorials as to how equipment works to giving you a little bit more advanced hints to some of these things, and they talk about the maze of the Holy Shrine, which is, of course, a reference to the Castle of Ordeals, and this holy-type enemies here, you can see that they are more advanced than the Castle of Ordeals-type enemies. I don't have any one-hit KO kind of enemies that we've seen yet, but we've got holy elementals, priests, wizards, and the sacred minotaurs, etc. Now, this is home to one of the ribbons of the game. The sages tell you that there are 4 ribbons hidden throughout the game. One of them is in here. We don't actually see it in this video, sadly, because I did the crawl of this dungeon in 2 segments. So this walkthrough of the dungeon was me going back into the dungeon after I had cleared it, because I wanted to just do an exploratory of the dungeon, but I ended up beating the final boss of the dungeon in my first run through. So this is me walking back through. Now, I did not find any other notable treasure here, so I'm just demonstrating how to get through the maze. If you want a tip of how to go through the maze, it is left, down, left, left. So left, down, left, left is all you really need to know for this one. That gets us to this tile, which does take us to a second story here. Now, looking left and right, what we saw right there, there's treasure rooms that wrap around. That room does have a wraparound effect, and all the chests are empty save one, and in that one chest is a ribbon, but I did not do all of that extra walking. So if you just walk to the right or the left, checking every chest as you get there, you will find a ribbon. The rest will be empty. You'll come back to the center of this room, and then you'll walk down. You actually could see the door to the room on the south end of this one on the upper side there. So this room kind of wraps around on itself twice, both ways, which all of the dungeon rooms in Final Fantasy 1 do that. You just don't see it most of the time because the designers put walls on most of the floors in the game. But there are some confusing ones, so there we can look down and see the treasure rooms. Now here, I'm going to make a quick cut to just before I fought the boss. There is a cut to the first crawl of this dungeon after I had picked up the ribbon. And the boss here is Seraph, the angel. Of course, it is a palette swap of the sprite of Carrie. And we are going to spend a couple of rounds sandbagging up here against Seraph. In the Final Fantasy Ultra Champion Edition, which is a kind of ROM hack of this ROM hack, if I can use a phrase like that, it's a improved or built-up version of this Final Fantasy -1. That one uses a very similar map through this dungeon, which I used to find my way through. There are some more treasures in that version than what I found in this one. But I noticed that the Seraph enemy has the Cure 4 spell in its routine. And so the strategy when I played that battle was to sandbag up until it used Cure 4, kind of like fighting the Chaos battle with an underpowered party. I am much less powerful in this one than I was in Ultra Champion Edition, so I didn't know quite what to expect. So I put up some sandbags here, but then eventually I just noticed that I was doing some good damage with the Vikings, so we kind of went on the offensive and just kept everybody else alive. So Haste 2 is fired up, and I'm going to use the Saber spell on Ace there to boost his attack power. It's going to end up being, I think, a tactical error because coming soon from the Seraph is the slow spell, which is going to undo what my haste spell does, as far as I can tell, necessitating me going back and re-hasting. I don't have any more charges of haste 2, so I have to go back and haste Ace himself. Now, we're going to start to heal, and this is where it makes a big difference that there are potions here that actually can heal some significant life. They're healing 100 or more hit points and not just 30 or 60, just a tiny, tiny, tiny bits of hit points from bosses that can do much more than that. So I've got the Protect spell up from my Paladin, which is helping me there. The Invis spell from the Ninja, I think she has 6 hits maybe, like Carrie does. So she's missing on more of them thanks to my Invis spells. and I'm just going to rehaste up Ace right here, and now we're just going to try to keep people alive, because without getting any critical hits, I'm not doing any significant damage, but the hammer there from Ace is able to puncture her defenses of the Seraph. So we're fighting this angel, which is kind of funky that we're fighting this spirit of goodness who accuses us of defiling her temple. So now it's Temper Spell. That's just boosting up Ace right there because we're doing no significant damage, but there's 6 hits for 789. 4 hits for 4. So it looks like the slow spell did reduce my my haste too, because I think 4 is the base number of hits for the ninja right there. And so now we're just drinking. Thankfully, you can drink for other characters in this one, which is good. You can do that in the vanilla version too, but you almost never want to use the drink spell or the drink ability in Final Fantasy 1 once you're past maybe the Mystic Key. Maybe even before that, even Astos hits harder than what they can heal. So there is 6 hits for 937, almost 1,000 damage in one attack there from Ace. And so here I'm thinking, even if Seraph does have the Cure 4 spell in its routine, I might be able to get it before we see it pop up. Now, I can't confirm if that's in this hack or not. It was in the Ultra Champion Edition, but we don't actually see it here in this one to give away the end of this battle a little bit. And so the Holy Spell is a worry there. I think my Defender that says dodge effects or prevent effects, I think that it has the same proc message as when you cast the Will Spell, which does prevent Holy. So that's why I was guessing that it's the same thing as the Will Spell, although I don't know if it's Will or Shell. Shell does the traditional elements like fire, ice, lightning, and air, and then Will does the other ones that have some damage and some status ailments applied to them. So now we have 2 chests to grab here on our way out, and we will be ready to go. We're going to just go here and get what we can. The Thor Hammer. Hopefully that still has the casting, and then the Excalibur right there. So we'll see if those have any special abilities, and we will get out of the Holy Shrine. Hey, if you like this series of videos, feel free to hit the thumbs up button. Make a comment, because I love to hear the feedback, or you can hit me up on Twitter, where I am also active _ATE. We will see you next time.